Good morning, everybody. I am Tim Bengtson. I'm the instructor in strategic campaigns, and it is my pleasure to introduce the Dean of the School of Journalism to welcome everybody to this important event. I introduce my Dean, J School Dean, Ann Brill. Thank you for being here, Ann.
Thank you, Professor Bengtson. I don't want to touch anything here because I know how sensitive all the equipment is, and I know you're all worried that technically something could happen, but I'm sure everything's going to go smoothly today. Everything will be fine this morning. On behalf of the University of Kansas and the William L. White School of Journalism and Mass Communications, I welcome you this morning to the students' final presentation with a great client, Noodles and Company. I can personally attest to how wonderful the food is. We had our faculty lunch catered last week by Noodles. It was very, very good, so thank you, Mark. Great client, alum, Mark Mears. And I know the attention is on you students today. I know you have come a long way. Some of you from as far as Arizona and Illinois and Kansas. But beyond that, I was thinking about just the other day, Journalism 101. Remember that? Yeah, it seems a long time ago, doesn't it? And you were sitting there with 450 other students wondering about your future, wondering what's going to happen. And here you are in a culmination of that class, all the writing, all the research, all the projects, all the friendships, all the exams, all the angst, all the good times and the times that challenged you. And here you are. So you should really be proud of yourself. Not everybody gets here. And so it's really great to see you students here. And I'm looking forward to the presentations. I do want to say two other things. I don't know if you're aware of it, but after more than 30 years at the University of Kansas, this is Professor Bengston's last campaign class.
And you're all happy about that, aren't you? Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Valuable colleague and friend, and Tim, well, you have another semester with us, so I won't say a whole lot more. But anyway, you students are really privileged to have this last opportunity. You joined thousands of students who have had it, and it's quite an honor. And in addition, I also wanted to acknowledge our guest this afternoon, Mark Mears. And Mark, I have a kind of special little gift for you. Back in 2008, anybody remember, you guys weren't here yet, but 2008, do you remember what happened? National championship in basketball.
Oh yeah.
Well, that year, the Kansas ornament celebrated that, and this actually hung on the Christmas tree in the White House. It's a commemorative 2008 NCAA National Championship official state holiday ornament. And I'd like to give this to you, Mark, since it's the holiday of giving, and you've given us so much. And one more thing I want you students to all to be thinking about. How many of you are graduating this month? Going to come back in May, I hope, for the official graduation and walk down the hill and all that. I hope you do. In the meantime, one of the things I want you to be thinking about and share with others, and we're trying to get the word out every way we can, is that Mark and his family have given us what's called the Tim Bengtson Mentor Award, and every spring we award that to a faculty member. So think of faculty members who have meant a lot to you at your time here, and I really hope you nominate them for this mentoring award. It's quite an honor. I've actually seen tears in faculty members' eyes when they've been awarded. It's named in honor of Tim Bengtson, a gift from Mark and his family, and it also carries a nice monetary award. So think of your favorite professors and what they've helped you with.
We have a recipient of that award here. Bob
Yes,
Basso.
Professor Bob Basso.
Why don't you stand up, Bob? Be recognized. Yeah.
So that's all I have, and you guys are ready? Ready? Okay, we're anxious to see what you've got. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dean Brown. Well, I want to second the Dean's remarks and say I'm very pleased that you're all here. Your attendance means a lot to the students and to me. Strategic Campaigns is our capstone course. It is the course in which students draw on everything they have learned in our curriculum to construct a strategic plan for a real-world client with real-world challenges. Our client this fall has been Noodles and Company, headquartered in Broomfield, Colorado. Mark Mears is the Chief Marketing Officer and Executive Vice President. And I'd like for Mark to stand one more time, if you don't mind, just to be recognized. Mark is a graduate of our journalism program, as the dean said. He graduated in 1984. That's an infamous year, isn't it? And former chief marketing officer or president of several major brands, including Blimpie, Schlotsky's, Mimi's Cafe, the Cheesecake Factory, and now Noodles & Company. This is the fourth time Mark has stepped up to be our client in the campaigns course. Mark also is the sponsor, as the dean mentioned, of the Bengtson Mentor Award, which provides a substantial cash award annually to a journalism professor who has excelled in mentoring students. So we thank you very much for everything, Mark. I want to give Mark one more round of applause. Thank you. I also want to thank Mike Swenson, who's in the back of the room next to Bob Basso. He's the president of Crossroads, a subsidiary of Barkley and the largest PR firm in Kansas City. On Mark's recommendation, Mike was kind to invite my students to visit the firm, one of the top agencies not only in Kansas City but in the country. Students told me after the tour that they could not have been more pleased with the experience. Barkley occupies the headquarters of the former headquarters of TWA in Kansas City. I should add that Mark Mears, like Mike, has been a strong supporter of the J School for many years. He regularly visits multiple journalism classes to lecture on topics of the day and to emphasize the importance of writing. So thank you very much for being here, Mike. Appreciate it. I should say that more than one student told me it was really exciting to go to the Barkley firm and how much they supported your comments about what their ideas are. So thank you very much, Mike. Next, I want to recognize my esteemed colleagues who have helped students become better researchers, better thinkers, and better writers in courses leading up to the capstone course. I ask that they stand when they are introduced, and I hope I get everyone. First of all, Professor Basso, would you stand again? He's just retired in May. Professor Basso taught campaigns for many, many years. And he covered the waterfront and then some with his students. Denise Linville, I saw. Where's Denise? Oh, here's Denise Linville. Yeah, thank you very much. And let's see, is there anyone else? We have staff members here, the vising staff, and so would you all please stand and be recognized? Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much. Next, I want to thank Lisa Kring and Jeremy. Jeremy's not here right now, but anyway, they've been working with the students for the last 3 days getting ready for this event, so I always like to thank the crew for the great job they do. Kel Butcher and his Media Crosswords team are here to tape and stream the presentations worldwide. You'll notice there are 2 cameras set up, and they are streaming this presentation worldwide. They're getting this, as far as I know, in the Soviet Union. Very interested over there in Noodles & Company. And across the world. We've had, I didn't know they could do this in the Media Crossroads, but they're able to identify which countries are actually picking up this stream as the students make their presentations. And a couple of years ago, there were 5 different countries at any one time listening to the presentations. We also happen to have 5 students from foreign countries who were in the class. So, I mean, their families were able to see the presentations live. So that's really amazing, this technology thing. So Cal and company, thank you very much. We need to show our appreciation to the parents, grandparents, siblings, spouses, significant others, and friends. We know it takes a village to raise a child. Would you please stand and be recognized to the parents and friends? And I mean, you're here for a reason, right? So, yeah. Thank you. I also want to thank the people from Noodles & Company for being here. I mean, Mark's colleagues who run the store here in Lawrence and do a terrific job. Ben is here, and excuse me, Brittany's here, and she was here earlier this fall. Ben did a heck of a job for us. We went down for a taste test, and students wanted to go back and more. I think they want to go back today, tomorrow, and so on. So it was a great experience. We thank you very much. Yeah, thank you. And as I say here in my notes, we don't want to forget the students. They're the ones who have worked hard and long to get to this point. This is really the highlight. I mean, this campaigns course. I mean, students have taken, as the dean said, they've taken writing courses, they've taken research classes, they've taken this, they've taken that, and now they have a chance to actually meet a particular challenge facing the Noodles and Company. How can Noodles and Company do an even better job? So that's what they've been working on, and I think they need to be recognized. So would you please stand and have everyone applaud you? Thank you. Thank you very much. Mark Mears came here on September 21, that was 12 weeks ago, to give a briefing session. And since that time, the class has been divided into 3 teams, 4 to 5 students per team, and they have been doing secondary research, they've been doing primary research, they've been doing one-on-one interviews, they've done focus groups. All teams have conducted their own market surveys among members of the target audience. All teams have formulated their own recommendations. And all the ideas presented here are their ideas. I tried to interject an idea or two, and they told me, bad idea, stay away. So I stayed away. All teams are vying for the Noodles and Company account. In other words, this is a competition, paralleling what happens in the real world. Based on the plans books, and we have copies of the plans books in the back of the room if you are interested in looking at them later. So the competition is based on what happens in terms of their plans books. The presentations here this morning and the overall quality and analysis, overall quality of analysis and strategic recommendations. The client has the dubious honor of determining who the winning team is. So, Mark, are you ready to make that decision? Don't say anything. Not yet. Okay. Every team has prepared a plans book, which runs 50 to 75 pages. Copies of the plans books are on display on the table in the rear of the room. Look at them when you're so moved. When Mark leaves to go to the regional list room at the end of the 3rd presentation, he's going there to deliberate, to confer with himself and anyone else. He chooses to help him make the determination on who the winning team is. When that happens, I'm going to ask everyone, and Mark, before you go to make your deliberation, I want you to join me and all the team members up here. I want to take a picture for the Monday memo. I've been asked to do that more than a couple of times by Julie Adam, and Kel has told me that he'll have someone to actually take the shot. So you'll all be famous. I'm going to be the first person in the middle, like so. Teams have converted the plans books into 20-minute PowerPoint presentations. That's what we're going to see this morning. Here's the format we will follow. Each team will have 20 minutes to pitch the account. Each presentation will be followed by a 5-minute Q&A. In the interest of time, we ask questions come only from Mark and Mike Swenson. After the final presentations, the judges will head to the regionalist room on the 5th floor to confer. When they are away, we can refresh ourselves and check our emails. When the judges return, they will briefly critique each presentation in the same order in which it was made and name the winning team. In my view, this is the best part of the class, to get a client to actually say this is something that really has some potential, and this is something that you might want to think about another time. To get that kind of criticism is invaluable, and to get that criticism for 3 different presentations is terrific. So we're very happy to have Mark here. Now sit back and enjoy 3 superb presentations. I guarantee you, you are in for a nice experience. So thank you all very much for being here. Thank you.
Good morning. This is our Noodles and Company campaign for 2016. My name is Emily Ward. This is Allie Winchell, Taylor Marquez, and Vincent Gutierrez. We would like to begin by thanking you all for allowing us to share our campaign with you. We hope you enjoy our presentation and appreciate your attention. After our briefing session with Mr. Mears, we learned that his main objective for us to accomplish is to increase same-store sales by 5% for 2016. The target audience that we researched were millennials ages 18 to 34. We were then asked to divide this group into two subset categories, which is young families and college students. And now to Taylor to explain our situation analysis.
Thank you, Emily, and good morning to everyone. Our situation analysis consists of research that we have accumulated over the past 3 months. This research has been divided into subcategories, the first of which being the client analysis. We began by researching the history of Noodles & Company and found that it started in 1996 by Aaron Kennedy. He wanted to create a unique restaurant experience that would raise the standards for the fast casual industry. With that, Noodles & Company opened in Cherry Creek, Colorado. Today, Noodles & Company has expanded to more than 400 restaurants in the United States. The essence of the Noodles brand is its global kitchen experience, which sets Noodles apart from other fast casual restaurants. Fast casual restaurants began in the 1990s and have quickly become the most popular industry today. We felt that researching fast casual restaurants was important to aid Noodles in discovering how it can set itself apart in all aspects. We discovered that when people are looking for a fast casual restaurant, they look for a modern, authentic cuisine, and this makes Noodles an original option. We decided to look into one competitor from each fast casual food category. So in this case, we looked at Panera for the cafe and bakery category, Chipotle for Mexican, Spin for Italian, Zoe's for Mediterranean, Panda Express for Asian, and Tossed for soups and salad. We looked at how these competitors present themselves through social media and in-store. In terms of social media, throughout the fast casual industry, we found that companies are better equipped to reach larger audiences and are able to market to those of select demographics. We found that Facebook and Twitter are the leading social media outlets for fast casual restaurants. Along with this, companies are able to follow viewer traffic and insights so a company can get a better understanding of who is engaging and how to increase those numbers. Allie will now talk about the product and consumer analysis.
Thank you, Taylor. Good morning, everyone. The third section of our situation analysis consisted of analyzing Noodles & Company's products, layouts, and services. We found that Noodles prides itself in serving the freshest ingredients by partnering with local farms. With a theater-style layout, guests can view the kitchen throughout the cooking process, and this allows all guests to feel confident that their food is cooked fresh and with care. We considered that guests enjoy consistency with their food and restaurant experience, and this may be an opportunity for Noodles to consider. Another opportunity that we discovered for Noodles to consider is to rework the to-go order process. This makes it smoother for other guests. Our consumer analysis consists of the demographic of millennials ages 18 to 34 and the subsets of that, young families and college students. Our first audience is young families. After looking at characteristics of this generation, we found that the best way to market to them is by social media interactions and high-quality visuals. This demographic is known for its busy schedules, and using social media allows them to interact with companies in a quick and easy way. Our second audience is college students. We found this demographic needs to be given product background at a glance, and it needs to be presented in a creative way. Some ways of doing this include strong, meaningful videos, as well as campus brand promoters who can not only engage other students but themselves as well. And now Vince will discuss our primary research.
Thank you, Allie, and good morning. We conducted our primary research through one-on-one interviews, surveys, and a focus group. We examined two groups, young families and college students. After conducting 20 one-on-one interviews with young families and college students, the consensus about Noodles & Company was that there were no comparable restaurants. When choosing a restaurant, taste and cost were the most important factors. Participants agree Noodles & Company has a clean environment with a fun and friendly atmosphere. However, our main finding revealed that there is a lack of brand identity awareness.
We conducted a focus group and survey with millennials in the subset categories of young families and college students. We found college students enjoy customizing their dishes. We also found that college students are more likely to go somewhere when offered discounts or coupons. This might entice college students living on a budget. We also discovered that participants were unaware what Noodles stood for, but felt that World Kitchen best describes its food experience. The other survey we conducted was the survey to young families. From this, we found that Noodles is a place that they love to take their kids for a quick and healthy meal.
Using our research, we created a SWOT analysis which describes the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats that Noodles may consider. Beginning with Noodles' first strength, we would like to commend Noodles & Company on its emphasis on a global cuisine through the World Kitchen message. This phrase helps guests to know the kind of food that Noodles offers. Along with this, the customizable menu allows guests to taste flavors that best suit their palate. Finally, we believe that Kids' STEAM program helps children gain more knowledge about science, technology, engineering, art, and math through its interactive table mat. This demonstrates Noodles' ability not only to provide food for its guests, but to also care about them as well. The weaknesses that Noodles & Company face are fewer locations compared to its fast casual competitors who near 1,700 locations. Consistency amongst food and service throughout all Noodles locations is also a weakness. Finally, the lack of social media presence and engagement. We would like to note that we are aware of Noodles' use of social media, but the engagement could be improved upon.
We feel that Noodles has the potential to provide an easier pickup and to-go service for its guests. By creating a tracking program, guests will be able to follow their order as it is being made and ready to be picked up. There is also a lot of growth within the fast casual industry, and by providing reasonable prices for quality food, guests will be more likely to come in. Finally, an increase in loyalty program incentives and customer engagement activities will create a more positive experience for guests and will help build brand awareness. Noodles' first threat that we discovered is the stigma against pasta being unhealthy. Guests associate carbs with unhealthy eating habits, and Noodles can easily drive this stigma away by marketing its sautéed noodles with proteins and vegetables. The other threat that we found was that people felt they could cook a nutritious meal at home for less money.
Now that you have seen the SWOT, there is one overarching challenge facing our client, and that is to establish a strong brand identity. This is the main focus when reaching our campaign objective. Our strategic plan is to achieve a 5% increase in same-store sales. We propose 4 strategies that will help entice college students and young families to visit Noodles & Company.
Strategy 1 is to build more brand and company awareness among college students, and the tactic we are implementing is the brand promoter program throughout college campuses. By holding promotional events, as well as informal tastings throughout campus, brand promoters have the opportunity to engage with fellow college students. This not only benefits the promoter by gaining experience, but will also help increase the sales at Noodles & Company. Strategy 2 is to provide an interactive dining experience for guests. The tactic we are using is a game called Which Dish Are You? The idea of this game is a roadmap of questions. Each question leads to another question on the roadmap. Ultimately, depending on the responses to previous questions, a person is more likely to be categorized with a certain type of Noodles & Company dish. The dish chosen will represent an item on the menu that could fit a person's tastes best. We think this could be implemented as a poster on the wall or a brochure on the table for guests to read. You start up at the top and work your way down until you find which dish would suit you best.
The third strategy is to solidify brand identity, and the tactic is a seasonal social media campaign push. We recommend Noodles use this in order to drive brand identity on a seasonal basis. Each season can be linked to the slogan in a different way. For example, the idea of to-go orders in winter and bringing global foods into your home. Strategy 4 is to push for customer loyalty through the tactic of the frequent taster card. This card will consist of guests getting hole punches in correlation with what type of food they purchase. Once all categories have been punched in a row, they will receive a free meal. This is a fun and unique way for Noodles & Company to connect with its World Kitchen message.
We now move on to our strategic message. We would like Noodles to use this to convey the brand identity to the audience. Our strategic message is, Noodles & Company is different from other restaurants because it offers a worldwide menu to satisfy a variety of tastes. This embraces the diversity of dishes offered at Noodles & Company. The slogan that embodies this strategic message is, Globalize your taste buds. We feel that Noodles should expand its social media presence through these apps. With the research we have done and the demographics we are working with, social media is clearly a strong tool for Noodles & Company to use. We believe that it would benefit the company to do giveaways on Facebook and Twitter pages. With the option to like a post, comment, or retweet, Noodles could easily pick a winner at random based on who participated. The customer base for this is very active on these social media platforms and therefore is easier to reach. We picked this time frame because these months mark the beginning of new semesters.
Instagram. Each month, Noodles will provide customers with a paper with their receipt where they can design their own pasta dish. If their dish is selected at the end of the month, Noodles & Company will receive the product on their Instagram, and the winner will receive a free pasta dish. Front Flip. Front Flip is an application used on a mobile device where customers can scan the Front Flip barcode at the restaurant and will receive a digital scratcher to scratch off and receive a discounted or free item. This will attract people because of the free incentive it provides.
That concludes our social media strategy. Now, we'll touch on the media plan. The following outlets are what we suggest Noodles use for its media campaign. The first is the billboard. The focus of the billboard ad is to emphasize the diversity of Noodles & Company as compared to the competition. This ad conveys the message, globalize your taste buds, to the audience and embodies the idea of satisfying a world variety of tastes because the taste buds are replaced with an assortment of flags. This ad conveys the message, the image can be changed using people from different ages and backgrounds. With this in mind, the billboard could potentially become a series rather than standing on its own. Next is the YouTube commercial. The YouTube commercial, the purpose of this video is to convey to the audience that Noodles & Company gives the consumer a taste of the rest of the world. The subjects of our ad campaign are presented in this natural environment prior to eating Noodles & Company. Upon taking a bite of Noodles' signature dish, the subject is seen being transported to another culture associated with whichever dish the subject consumed, thus globalizing their taste buds. We hope you enjoy the video conveying strong brand identity and cultural awareness. This series can be demonstrated using different characters, and the key is that the ideas connect globalize your taste buds with World Kitchen.
Through our research, we have found that consumers like to be interactive when dealing with companies. Augmented reality allows the consumer base to do just that. If a customer has the augmented app, they may scan a code and they will see the print ad the company has created come to life. Augmented reality has different sectors of a variety of industries that it can be used from. Whether one wants an ad to come to life or by configuring the furniture of an empty room, augmented reality can fit the needs for any company. No one in the industry is using this, and this will set Noodles apart from other leaders in the industry. The way it works is by one holding up their smartphone or tablet to scan the code and is able to make things become a reality. For in-store merchandising or creating displays, one can simulate how they want the display to look in the store. When wanting to engage with a customer base, a company can use Augment through a new kind of media such as interactive printing.
We have provided a simplified version of the budget based off the top 10 markets given to us by Mr. Mears. Our budget consists of costs associated with the Ambassador Program, Which Dish Are You?, our social media campaign, promotional ideas, and creative material. The proposed budget for everything is approximately $4.4 million. We have included a more detailed budget plan in our plans book.
Our recommendations for evaluating this campaign are as follows. All these criteria, of course, would be quantified. First, measure restaurant sales by comparing sales semi-annually or monthly to determine the effectiveness of the campaign and any routine changes made to it. Next, measure participation in monthly interactive events by finding the correlation between event participation and customer traffic monthly. Third, measure social media participation by measuring follower gain and social media promotional participation upon implementation. Continue measurement daily and make changes as needed. Finally, measure order trends by tracking orders and the types of food guests are drawn to. Make note of orders that are customized and use that to determine whether awareness is being achieved. In closing, we would like you all to take away these main ideas from our findings. First, solidify brand identity through our strategic message. Next, find opportunities to encourage customer interaction. And finally, find ways to increase customer loyalty and retention.
Through this experience, we have learned that Noodles & Company has a unique business strategy. We would like to express our gratitude to Mark Mears, Noodles & Company, Crossroads, and Professor Tim Bengtson for giving us this real-life experience opportunity. The implementation of our campaign will help Noodles & Company improve interaction with guests, consistency amongst all locations, and change the opposing perception of the brand and food. It is with confidence that we ask you for this account, and we are eager to get to work.
Thank you all for taking the time to consider our presentation. And with that, we would like to invite Mr. Mears to ask any questions he may have.
You guys set the bar pretty high. No pressure. Lighten up. That was a great presentation of what I read in your plans books. I think you brought it to life very well. Just a few questions, actually. Could you went kind of quick through some of the things I thought were really intriguing technologies. Could you just go back through front flip real quick? And I'm not familiar with that, so I would love to be more familiar with what front flip could do for us.
So basically, you download the app and
Repeat the question.
what is front flip? So you
Sounds like a Jeopardy question.
So the locations will have a placement near the register or wherever they want to place it, and it'll just have a barcode. So you download the app and you scan it, and then you scratch it off, kind of like a lottery ticket kind of thing, and it reveals like one free something, a free drink, free Rice Krispie. So it incentivizes people to come in by downloading the app and using that to receive a discount. Mhm.
Also, I love the idea of user-generated content. We talked about interactive. And I was a little confused on the which dish are you. I like that a lot, but I was confused as to whether that was a paper-based, almost menu type of thing that someone would get when they came in the restaurant, or is that something that could be done socially that could maybe deepen the idea, which I think is really cool, of linking it to taste or personality and whatnot. But give me again the flavor of what you're trying to accomplish there.
Right. So the question is what exactly is which dish are you? We were thinking this could be implemented in one of two ways or both. It could either be a poster on the wall next to the menu. Some people are extremely indecisive. I know for myself, I'm indecisive on what I want to eat when I go somewhere. This will kind of give them an idea in a fun way to go through. If they want something lighter filling, they can go through, do they want veggies, do they want meat, sauce, seasoning, and then they can go through and kind of give them an idea of something that they can eat, trying something new on the menu. Or it can be implemented as a brochure on the table so that they can go through the brochure, and then the next time that they come in, they can try something different.
And then, real quick, can you kind of go through your media recommendation just in terms of the dollar allocations and media you chose?
Okay, so yeah, we chose like a YouTube ad, not so much commercial. and also billboard or print ads. And pretty much what we did was we took a 2% of company revenue and allocated that as our funds, which added up to about $4.4 million, not billion. Right. Most companies in the industry are using about 10%. So what we really propose is about $44 million, but given our budget of $10 million, we slimmed it down to 2%.
I want to make sure I understood. So you were given a budget of 10, but you chose to only spend 4.
This is just based upon the top 10 locations
Right.
that you had given us in that briefing session.
Okay, got it.
So if we were to implement this plan in all Noodles and Company locations, it would be more expensive, but we just did the top 10
Okay.
main.
The budget was supposed to cover the top. So you left a little bit of money on the table, and if you have, questions regarding that, that's fine. I also am curious as to of the percent of total media, looks like 2.7 is going into creative. Do you think that's a good percent of remaining working media of the 4.4 you have left over that's going to get to the actual target?
Yeah, well, for the augmented reality, it's $1,000 per one campaign. So if you wanted to do several different print ads, then it would be more. We just did it based off of one. So we did one campaign for all those creative things.
Those are all the questions I have. Nice job.
Thank you.
I would leave it.
Okay, team number 2 is next. We'll give you a minute to set up. Nice job.
I'm just going to take the use the mouse, not the click. Okay, yeah, the mouse will be good. Okay.
You can skip this and this, and then we can speak from here. Okay, yeah, that works.
Are we on? Holding PC. Should be going on in just a second. It's coming. It's coming. This is just warming up. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it looks like it's doing something. Is it because, like,
Oh wait, that projection on off.
Yeah.
yeah. We need a tech person.
They're talking anyways.
We're doing it from the PC.
There it is.
Cool. Okay, so go back.
There we go.
Hi, good morning. Before we get started, we want to thank a few people in the room. We want to thank Mr. Mark Mears for being such a wonderful client this semester and giving us the opportunity to work on this project. You know, it's interesting when you work on projects like these, how immersed you become in a brand. I mean, I can personally say the amount of penne rosa I've consumed this semester working on this is pretty impressive. Next, we want to thank Mr. Ben Hicks for putting on a great test tasting. If you want us to do that again, we can do that. It'll be great. We loved it. We'd also like to thank Mr. Mike Swenson for being such an awesome support, answering all of our questions, and being so welcoming to us when we went to Berkeley. Last but not least, we would like to thank the man and the legend, Mr. Tim Bengtson. Yes, without whom this would all be impossible. You've been so encouraging and been such a great mentor, and we really appreciate it, and we're truly going to miss you next semester. My name is Evan Shin.
My name's Alexa Moore.
I'm Caroline Connor.
And I'm Max McBride, and we're Team 2.
All right, today we're going to show you guys something pretty cool. So, Mr. Mears, when you came to us at the beginning of the semester, you came to us with a challenge. And that challenge was to create a campaign to increase same-store sales by 5% in 2016. With this challenge, you and your team helped us identify Noodle's primary and secondary target audiences. These are career-minded parents and early adopter college-age millennials. These segments are often time-poor, they strive to achieve high social status, children impact the brand decisions, they eat organic, they're adventurous, they celebrate brand purpose, they're career-driven, and tech-savvy. You also relayed to us some key observations about the brand, such as awareness being a barrier to trial and frequency, how Noodle's frequency currently is below fast casual leaders, how the brand resonates with families, how Noodles isn't getting enough credit for customization and the quality of ingredients, as well as the brand's mixed value scores, with some people thinking Noodles, a company, its value is positive, while others thinking sometimes it's negative, unfortunately. But we wanted to supplement all this with our own research, which you see outlined in the plans book in front of you. And to go through that, I'm going to invite Ms. Alexa Moore to come up and tell you what we did and what we found.
Thank you, Evan, and good morning, everyone. So we wanted to do as much research of our own as we could, and so naturally we started with secondary research. We had access to some of the most reputable research databases such as Mintel, Hoover's, Ad Age, and Redbooks to further our understanding of anything and everything to do with Noodles & Company. So after conducting our secondary research, we went on to perform our primary research. We went to Noodles & Company and were shown awesome customer service while we got our opportunity to taste test all of the dishes. So we love that, and then if you would like us to come back in the future, we would definitely love that, so thank you. We also observed the restaurant multiple occasions at different times of the day. We kept up with top competitors' social media accounts. We conducted in-house surveys, one-on-one surveys, a focus group, and 2 online surveys with a sample size of 132. So with this research we conducted, we came up with some of our own key findings. We found that Noodles' value perception is weak, and guests aren't really aware of the brand's benefits and virtues. We found that guests come primarily because they crave noodle-based dishes. Noodles are synonymous with carbs, and consumers aren't totally confident about their knowledge of carbs and what carbs can do for them, but they do consider how meals affect their daily performance. So, with all this research we conducted, we were able to design our SWOT analysis, and Caroline will now lead us through that.
Thank you, Alexa, and good morning. So once we analyzed our key findings, we developed the SWOT analysis and identified our Noodles' strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. We believe that the brand's mission values is its top strength. Consumers' mixed feelings toward the brand are its biggest weakness. Our research shows consumers often don't understand what the brand represents. However, we believe that the brand's biggest opportunity is empowering guests through psychological benefits, which we will revisit later on in this presentation. And the most immediate threat to the brand is the emerging market competition. You can find more details in the plans book. So Mark Mears, you came to us in September and gave us a client brief. One quote that stood out to us was, "Good brands know what they do, but great brands know why." This really struck a chord with us. We also analyzed Noodle's strategic mission statement, which is to always nourish and inspire the team members, guests, and communities it serves. We took this mission statement quite literally and researched the essence of noodles, which in many people's minds means carbs. However, our research suggests that consumers aren't entirely aware of the benefits of carbs. Carbs are the main source for glucose. The brain operates on glucose for 99% of its waking life. The brain consumes up to 50% of the body's glucose and is not able to function without it. Without carbs, one's brain is literally being starved for fuel. In other words, carbs are essential in nourishing your body. Noodles partners with major nonprofit organizations such as Kids Live Well, No Kid Hungry, and STEAM, which aim to better the lives of children through nourishment and education. In this way, Noodles aligns itself with its mission to inspire. And now Evan is going to inform you about a few of our ideas.
So let's keep in mind these ideas of nourishing, inspiring, and empowering. What's the goal of all these? Why do we become nourished and inspired? Some would say it's to succeed. Once we've been nourished and inspired, we aspire to meet our goals. So with that in mind, our team developed the 2016 strategic message for Noodles & Company. Noodles & Company nourishes and inspires success. We believe this is the essence of the brand. When we think about all the great brands we love and know today, they communicate a psychological benefit directly to their consumers. For example, Coca-Cola opens happiness. Nike just does it. So what does Noodles do? Noodles do. Noodles & Company fuels tomorrow. Fuel tomorrow. This is our 2016 campaign theme and slogan. So what does tomorrow look like? Tomorrow might look like a Fuel Points loyalty card. Tomorrow might look like a billboard on the highway telling drivers that there's a Noodles at the next exit. Tomorrow might look like a partnership with Pocket Points, where students are rewarded with discounts and loyalty points for staying off their phones and studying so that they too can succeed. Most importantly, though, tomorrow looks like a series of stories about the relationship between nourishment, inspiration, and success. And here to tell you some of those stories, we have Caroline Connor.
Thank you, Evan. Here are a few examples of real and hypothetical stories of nourishment and success. From the left, we have Maggie Doan, who is a 26-year-old American philanthropist. She has built a children's home, women's center, and primary school in Coppola Valley of Nepal. In the middle, we have Michael Odom, a 35-year-old American actor, composer, writer, playwright, and rapper that occasionally stars on Broadway. From the right, we have Beth Buckland, who is a 32-year-old innovator and entrepreneur who has kickstarted her own mobile app. What connects these three real-life success stories is that Noodles & Company nourishes these individuals so they can inspire others around them. With these stories, we want to create a content series highlighting these successful people, getting down to what drives them, because Noodles & Company offers the nourishment and inspiration to help others succeed. For example, Maggie fuels change. Michael is able to fuel the arts. And Beth is able to fuel innovation. Here we have a few examples of how these stories can translate to print. Change isn't made on an empty stomach. 2.5 hours under the stage lights every night, that needs noodles. Innovation doesn't happen on an empty stomach. And now Alexa Moore is going to talk about our social media.
Thank you. So we wanted to highlight these success stories via social media as well. And through our research, we found that audiences resonate most with individual personal stories that reflect the campaign. So we decided to show these stories through the Instagram platform, as you can see. but they work across all social media platforms. In all these cases, these people were nourished and inspired to achieve their own success. Now, Fuel the Arts, Fuel Innovation, and Fuel Change are just 3 examples of how our campaign can be applied to any abstract idea. The possibilities are endless. Fuel creativity, fuel entrepreneurship, fuel community, fuel laughter, fuel together, fuel minds, fuel hearts, fuel risk, fuel truth, fuel leadership, fuel freshness, fuel social, fuel diversity, and fuel the next generation. So with that, we thought it would be useful to use another social media tactic to attract more people to Noodles & Company. So we thought of a social media contest that asks users to share what fuels them to be their best self. The user must end the video with a shout out to another user, asking them to contribute what fuels them. Users get an online voucher via direct message for a free bowl of noodles at their local Noodles & Company. The next slide demonstrates how it would work.
What fuels me currently is the Hamilton original cast soundtrack because it's about a guy who writes his way out of his circumstances and makes history. I'm curious, at Caroline Connor, what fuels you?
What fuels me is knowing that my education will not only make a better place for me, but for those around me as well. What fuels you at Max McBride?
My photography fuels me to capture the world around me and share it with others. What fuels you at Alexa Moore?
What fuels me is my creative writing as a hobby. It allows me to express myself through my imagination and basically what I'm thinking about. What fuels you at Mark Mears?
And now Max will talk about the Fuel KU College program.
Thanks, Alexa. Good morning. The Fuel KU promotion allows students to create their own stories to be shared with the hashtag FuelKU. This is intended to mirror the national campaign. Noodles will send an RFP to KU for short video documentaries about noteworthy students on campus. The RFP will be promoted through the University Daily Kansan, social media, and the local Noodles restaurant. Students will submit the proposals using the hashtag FuelKU, which will then be voted on. The winner of the best proposal will be sent a complete video documentary package, and then the students involved in the production of the video will share the final video on their social media channels, and Noodles will reshare them. The winning team will be sent a combination of cash prizes and gift cards at the end of the project. This can be replicated at colleges around the country that have a Noodles close to campus. Our media budget consists of TV, print, out-of-home, internet, PR, and promotions. TV takes up most of the budget due to the costs of ad placement on popular networks and production costs. Print will allow us to position our ads in publications that are relevant to our target markets. We want to make sure that Noodles' presence is known in each city, so we want our out-of-home budget to get extra to ensure that ads are placed in the best locations for our impressions. Our internet budget includes social media ads and management, banner ads, and podcast sponsorships. The public relations budget will be used for event sponsorships and charities, such as the STEAM project, while the promotions will cover expenses needed for coupons and reward programs. In the media plan, we recommend spending slightly heavier in the launch phase of Q1 2016, with a slight reduction through quarters 2 and 3, and then ramping spending back up for the fourth quarter finale. To measure our campaign effectiveness, we'll evaluate several measures. We'll compare sales on a monthly basis compared to the previous year's sales, analyze restaurant traffic counts, use social media analytics to measure engagement and follower numbers, create surveys and mini questionnaires, and finally conduct qualitative research in the form of focus groups and one-on-ones. And to conclude our presentation, I'll hand it back to Evan Shin.
As we come to a close, we want to highlight 3 key points from our presentation. Number 1 is that in 2016, Noodles & Company nourishes and inspires success. We believe this streamlined message translated across our suggested platforms will not only spread awareness and deepen engagement, but it will allow Noodles to hit those benchmarks in same-store sales. Number 2, we want to reiterate the effectiveness of our slogan, Fuel Tomorrow. The idea that if you go to Noodles & Company and you order a wholesome dish made from fresh ingredients, that the next day you won't walk away feeling crummy. That you'll feel ready, energized to take on your dreams and attack your future. And lastly, we want to highlight the power of storytelling, as well as how potent a great message can be in a story. Through social, video, print partnerships, we believe our campaign message of nourishing, inspiring success will elevate Noodles to that fifth face on the Mount Rushmore of brand legends that you talked about in your client brief. And with that, Mr. Mears, we would love for you to partner with us in implementing these ideas. And now I'm going to ask for our team members to come up to say a big thank you and to open the floor for questions.
Thank you.
Oh, that's right. Yes, I remember.
Thank you. Excellent job. I'm sitting here inspired on many levels, and I think that was your goal. So my questions are going to be very brief. Can you connect the dots for me in terms of the research that you did that led you to the idea that you should focus more on kind of the outcome of a dining experience at Noodles & Company versus the actual experience itself?
Yeah. So the research that we did, we started off thinking about, global cuisine and all these different things that you mentioned in the client brief. And we found that when users go to these dining experiences, they're not thinking about maybe the globality of it, but they're thinking about what it does from the experience. When they go to Chipotle, and they want a meal that's laced with E. coli, they go and they don't think about getting Mexican. So from there we thought about the idea of carbs are synonymous, and rather than going against it, we should work with it. And that this idea, this mission of nourishing, inspiring other people, we thought that was a great way to go with thinking about the outcome of what the product actually does for you. So there's that.
A lot of that came from our surveys that we sent out. A lot of people wrote down that carbs were kind of like the main reason that they wouldn't go to Noodles Company, but they also marked down that they think about how meals will affect them in the future, like how they're going to feel when they wake up, if they eat it for dinner. So we took that into consideration. We thought, educating people about the good benefits of carbs, then, I think that's kind of where we were going with it.
And then also there was a segment that we found in social media. The people who are using social media to highlight Noodles & Company are ones who are very, very active, and they need those carbs. So we thought about that.
Thank you. All right, well, that kind of dovetails into the question about your PR plan. I saw that as a line item in your media plan and was curious. You spent some time with Mike, I'm sure. What was your PR plan? I didn't hear that as part of your integrated communications approach.
Yeah, we wanted to, at least for on campus, we wanted to create a type of campaign where Noodles was able to get involved with students and provide them with an opportunity to get some national exposure for projects they're working on. And so the way that would be done is by their proposal of a student that they like on campus that's similar to the stories that we have nationally, that Noodles would actually send them a documentary package with instructions from the main stories, national stories director, and tell them how they can shoot these with very high quality camera equipment to help keep the message consistent across campuses. And then the students would vote on those projects, and the best one would get turned into a national campaign. And we thought that would help generate a lot of buzz and potentially have some coverage in the newspaper, the campus paper, and possibly local paper as well.
Okay, so you mentioned that folks think carbs may be bad, and I like the fact that you said, hey, we'll just own it and let's turn it around and show them the positive benefits. Publicity could be used for that. Did that factor into your campaign about education of the linkage between carbs and brain food?
Yeah, a lot of that would come through social media too, and I think the way that we would promote the Fuel Tomorrow campaign and everything with that, we decided to use the hashtag What Fuels You to kind of connect, like, food is fuel, and a lot of people know that, and we found that in our research too, and we decided to flip that, and then social media would come through that, and then the whole, if users tag the What Fuels You, do the video content, their followers will see that. More people will get involved in that, and then noodles will be top of mind awareness for a lot more people.
And to speak on the education of carbs, we found in our research that people weren't really confident about their knowledge of it. They've just been told it's bad, but there are a lot of people out there who often think about what they're doing in terms of performance, but they never think about as carbs fueling them to do that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, last question on kind of the campus approach of getting students involved and engaged. I like the idea of the hashtag FuelKU and getting it to be personal to students and so forth. How would you get the word out for people to participate?
One of the ways that we'll do it is to do ads in the campus's paper, and then we'd also contact different departments to let them know, like the film and media department or the journalism school, the ones that would have the right students that would be wanting to participate in the project. And we would also have tags on social media about the project, and then the restaurant itself would have flyers directed towards the students to let them know that this contest is taking place.
Excellent. No further questions. Thank you.
Okay, one to go.
Do you guys need the PC or he's playing it? Okay. So I guess we'll leave that up. So I guess we'll, you guys using it up here?
Yeah.
Okay.
At the end of this presentation, I need for the students to step forward. We want to take a photograph of you all, and Mr. Mears, want you to join us in that photograph. And Mike, yeah. Mike and Mark will be up front with us, and we'll take a photograph, and it'll be on the front page of the New York Times.
Perfect.
Tomorrow. Are you all ready?
Yes.
Are we ready to go? Yes, so? Okay.
All right. Good morning, everyone, and thank you all for coming here. Today, we are Charter Creative, and welcome to our strategic campaign for Noodles & Company. And a special thank you to Mark Mears and Mike Switson and everyone else who helped us throughout this campaign. Next, we would like to introduce ourselves. My name is Tyler Stubler.
My name is Jimmy Barton.
My name is Brianna Summers.
My name is Ashley Height. I'm Natalie Terwilliger, and we are Chartered Creative.
Now, Brianna will talk to us about our secondary research.
Thank you, Tyler. Good morning, everyone. In order to gain initial insight on the ins and outs of Noodles & Company, our team completed secondary research in the forms of online surveys completed by Mintel, as well as comparisons of catering and rewards programs between Noodles and its competitors. The most interesting aspect we found within our secondary research is the growth of the Noodles E-Club. Within a year, the club has seen growth of 47%, totaling over 1 million participants. Now I'll pass it over to Jimmy, who will talk about our primary research.
Thank you, Brianna. Welcome, everybody. Our secondary research allowed us to raise more questions for our primary research. During the 4 months we had together, we conducted 20 one-on-one interviews, a focus group consisting of 6 KU students, 2 online surveys with a sample size of 200 participants. Featured in the graphic are our most prominent findings in our second survey regarding questions about Noodles & Company's menu, competitors, and health factors. One response that was astonishing to us was 98% of people can find something appealing on the menu at Noodles & Company. And we accredit this to the wide variety of menus and options. And now Ashley will tell you about the SWOT analysis.
Thank you, Jimmy, and good morning, everyone. Maybe? There we go. After completing research, we compiled a SWOT analysis to see where the company has been and where we can take it. We found the strengths behind we will find the strengths behind, there we go. We found that the strengths behind the success of Noodles & Company was the high quality food, the variety of flavors and dishes, along with the welcoming and relaxing atmosphere. As discussed within our initial meeting with Mr. Mears and throughout our primary research, we found the weaknesses were within the brand's awareness, the cost compared to cooking noodles at home, health in terms of calories and fat, as well as staff education, for example, the knowledge of the menu. Opportunities derived from the adventure and flavors the brand has to offer, which in turn can improve the health with many modifications. Lastly, community involvement within the target market of the college communities has potential. However, with any successful brand comes threats. We found the assumption that noodles are not healthy acts as a threat, as well as the wide range of competitors within the fast casual category. Now, Natalie will take you through the overarching challenges.
Thank you, Ashley. Good morning, everybody. Okay, so after completing our SWOT analysis, we were able to identify two overarching challenges. The first overarching challenge was the awareness of the brand, menu, and health. These factor as a challenge for getting guests to come into the restaurant. Secondly, the second overarching challenge was rewards and discounts for returning customers. This challenges to retaining customers and maintaining same-store sales. There we go. Okay. After our research and findings, we developed a strategic plan starting with the campaign objective. In our first meeting with Mr. Mears, he discussed about same-store sales, more specifically to raise sales by 5% in the 2016 calendar year.
The two audiences that we are focusing on are college students and young families. This graphic is a breakdown of the most interesting facts of our target audiences. 20.2 million U.S. citizens are college students, creating a large demographic for the 18 to 25 age range. Secondly, young families offer an audience of 28.2 million and visit family restaurants on an average of 3.3 times a month.
After looking at all our data and recognizing what we had, we came up with the overall message Noodles & Company should deliver to its target audience. Noodles & Company offers an adventure to individuals and families and flavors from around the world while maintaining the highest quality of food. With this message, we came up with our campaign slogan, Taste the Adventure.
To start off the adventure, we recommend to do a dish a month program, which would feature a different country every month and a dish or a flavor inspired by them. We have shown a suggestion list for what countries and which month based on historical holidays. For example, the United States would be on the 4th of July for Independence Day, whereas Spain would be featured in December for Constitution Day. This allows you to also integrate educational to other promotional ideas.
Next, our banner promotion. Each store will be provided with a banner to advertise the promotion, just like this first one here, Noodles & Company, Taste the Adventure. Next, each store will be provided with banners for each month of the year. For example, right here, Adventure to America, where it will be featured in July for Independence Day, and it will have the feature dish, Wisconsin mac and cheese. Then, these will be appealing to every person walking by to get them to want to come into the store and go on an adventure.
Craving a trip? The print ad is also an option to advertise the Dish a Month programs in store for retention purposes. They can be morphed into table cards, in-store banners, and bus ads, as Noodles has done in the past. Take a trip with us each month.
Next, television. We recommend that 30-second spots, 30-second to 60-second commercials on a local and target market level. Different stories are given to appeal to a broader audience. For example, on a target market level, we came up with this storyboard that will feature music and natural background noise of that scene's location. In this first scene, a man or woman in a crop field picking fresh ingredients for Noodles and Company and their dish. Then he or she places them in a basket till it is full and then throws it off screen. Next scene, you'll hopefully have a better looking gentleman than that guy right there. As most of you probably can't tell since I'm wearing a hat, that's me. So, in the second scene, the chef catches the basket of ingredients in his or her Noodles and Company kitchen, looks at what ingredients are in the basket, holds them out towards the camera, ending with a voiceover saying, Noodles and Company, bringing the adventure of fresh ingredients to you. This will fade into a graphic with the logo and the slogan, Taste the Adventure, along with the address of the local restaurant and their phone number.
All right, thank you, Tyler. And continuing with the media aspect, on a social media platform, we introduce a new blogging tactic we suggest be available on the main Noodles and Company website. Here, bloggers with a particular interest in world travels and cooking will be featured. They can share their travel stories and recipes from their favorite dishes from multiple featured countries. From there, the dishes can be available on a limited time offer basis. For example, here we have Sasha Martin of Global Table Adventure. We reached out to her as a potential partner because she falls within the target market of young families and uses a tone of voice similar to that of Noodles and Company. Upon reaching out to Sasha, she showed her interest in working with the company when she said, what a positive idea to brand and expand the company. We now present a social media initiative to go hand in hand with the blog. Along with blogging, pictures, recipes, and stories will emerge and will need to be shared. Naturally, social media acts as a platform and the perfect stage for such stories and allows Noodles to talk directly to their followers and open the floor to an adventurous discussion about food. The aforementioned partnerships with bloggers will also create a constant conversation about the brand while inspiring some culinary creativity. Here, we have a featured potential post from Noodles' Twitter promoting Sasha's blog, and a link should be in it. And we also have Sasha's Instagram featuring her dishes and tying it with the Noodles and Company brand.
Our closing promotions encompass the remainder of the opportunities we found Noodles and Company to have. The Adventure Club acts as a rewards program that all guests can participate in. Based on our research, guests appreciate programs that they are able to track their rewards and have a point base. With the information, Adventure Club members will receive 1 point for every $1 they spend. Guests will save up points and spend them on different rewards that they appreciate. For example, you can earn 100 points and spend it on a free entree. The Rock Chalk Rewards is a local program for KU students that can be replicated and implemented in other college towns. Students that bring in and show their ID will receive a 5% discount at any location in Lawrence, which is only one. And then students after a big KU basketball or football win can bring in their ID the next day and receive 15% to celebrate the win. And lastly is our Little Explorers program. This is a passport idea derived from the Dish a Month program. All guests under the age of 12 will receive a passport and have the opportunity to gain a stamp from the country they have food from. Once the Little Explorer reaches 10 stamps, they can receive a free meal of their liking.
Our budget reflects the target market and local level budgets. We have allocated $10 million for the targeted market based on these aspects and $25,000 for the local level entities.
And last is the campaign evaluation, which reflects different tactics to gauge the brand's success in 2016. By completing the evaluations of internal sales, revenue from promotions, awareness of variety and food quality, social media traffic, and staff education, Noodles and Company will be able to measure just how successful they were in the 2016 calendar year.
Now, a message to you. Here at Charter Creative, We pursue the ultimate test of any relationship, adventure. But let's keep it professional. This is a two-way street. Mixed with passion, creativity, but most of all, reliability. In the end, it comes down to how how it is defined as a brand, but most importantly, the people involved. We're ready. Are you? So the adventure begins.
Wow, nice job. Man, you guys are making this tough. All right, just a few questions. I really like the way you wove together your story from kind of the beginning, the middle to the end. Some of the tactics I just want to kind of get you to talk a little bit more about. One of them you mentioned was the Dish a Month Club. And I love the idea of highlighting a different dish a month and getting across the global flavors, but I just want to make sure I got it right. Are you suggesting that we create a different dish each month on the menu, or are you suggesting that we highlight existing dishes?
You can highlight existing, or you can create new ones. In our plans book, we have suggestions for the countries we provided for dishes you can have with links to the recipe.
So you're suggesting a mix of the two?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not sure Ben could make a different one each month.
We picked some pretty simple ones.
Yeah. There are supply chain and training and a whole litany of different things that go into even adding one dish to the menu, much less one a month. That's why I want to make sure I clarified that. That's a cool idea. In terms of the bloggers, can you tell me a little bit more about who you selected and why and how you see that working? I thought that was an interesting technique
Right.
as well.
So I actually only reached out to Sasha Martin, the one that was featured. And how that would go about is you reach out to different bloggers, and we do have within our budget a certain amount allocated to actually sending them on trips and maybe experiencing different flavors, different spices, and from there they can blog about it. So that's not a month-to-month basis. It's,
Sure.
within 3 or 4 months at a time. And they write about it. They can also feature their favorite dishes because Sasha has a very big following and also a long resume of dishes that she's already tried and that she was willing to share with us. So within that could just kind of set the platform for, or the launching pad for more bloggers to be involved in that.
Excellent. And then as part of your research, can you kind of connect the dots for me as to how you listened to guests or prospective guests and decided upon the positioning that you came up with?
From a Mintel online survey, we looked at millennials, the target audience, and a lot of them really want to try new flavors. I believe it's in our plans book about how many, like 46% want to try something from Europe, and 47, like I'm guessing for numbers, but a lot of them want to try other cultures' food, so why not just have it in that one roof instead of having to travel to that country?
Sure.
It'll save you a lot of money.
Yeah, and that's your secondary research. On your primary research, where you actually did focus groups or surveys, did you get similar feedback?
We got similar on the online surveys.
And then probably the question we're all wondering, and I know Brittany's wondering, is how best to reach college students, how best to reach you all. I wasn't sure that came through as much in the plan, so I want to make sure I give you a chance to articulate that.
Discounts, yeah.
Discounts.
Discounts straight off the bat, and Jimmy, I'm sure you can expand more on that.
We just see the best way is to have a discount all the time because that entices them. If they want something cheap, they know they'll get 5% no matter what. And then sports are really big here, especially basketball. I mean, football, they wouldn't have got a discount this year, but...
They've been double.
Yeah. But, yeah, so I know a lot of professional teams do this. Like, after a win, if they score 100 points, you can go and get a Big Mac or something. So we figured, why not? If the KU team wins, they could go the next day. Because when they're watching the game, they can be really excited we won. Let's go to Noodles tomorrow.
How about volleyball?
Yeah.
Come on, you got to give up some love for the girls.
Well, yeah, we
right?
could do sports just in general, but we were just putting the two big ones.
We figured that discounts are the biggest enticement for students during our focus group, because when we asked why they didn't go out, it was a money thing. And the biggest thing they said is we would go more, but there's no discounts. They do accept Beacon Bucks, though. So that was a good thing, but just discounts add on to it.
So then how would we get the word out to let them know we have discounts?
Social media.
Social media. So other companies I know tweet out like, hey, we're having a 15% discount today. Or there are other, I've even seen on Instagram some clothing companies that put like numbers on tennis balls, so like 10%, 15%, 20%, and then they throw all three and a dog chases it, whichever the dog brings back, that's the discount you get. So that would be implemented into it, and that would be projected out through social media.
Excellent. Okay, that's all the questions I have.
Well, the judges are back, and I think they're going to give us a critique of each presentation. The way we're going to work this is I've asked Mark and Mike to go through each of the three presentations and make a comment or two about each of them in the order in which they presented, and then to name the team that by this much was maybe just a little bit better than the other two. It's a tough job, but they are up to it today, I believe. I hope they're up to it. But before we get to that, I just wanted to spend 30 seconds saying how happy we are to have graduates like Mike and Mark who are so supportive of our program. And I mean, year after year, semester after semester, and they can't do enough for us. And I think those are great role models I hope all of you are aware of, so that when you are in a position where you can help the School of Journalism, that would be fabulous if you could follow their example. Because really, I mean, Mark suggested it'd be nice if all of you went down to Berkeley and toured the agency, and Mike Swenson in no time said you're invited, and then he took us on a grand tour, and it was one of the most impressive agencies I've ever seen, and I've seen some good ones. And it was fabulous. So Mark, great idea, and Mike, great carry through on that idea. So anyway, look, we need to give these two gentlemen another round of applause, and then we'll and as Mark just said, we need to give the students a round of applause because they did a hell of a job. Very good. So, sir and sir.
The client has my trust.
Okay.
All right, you're going to get more than you bargained for with me. Usually you do. I just want to say thank you. This has been just a wonderful journey, and it's the fourth time, and I'm not blowing smoke. I will tell you, Mike and I deliberated over this, and this is by far the best. Yeah. And so we kind of put together some criteria for how to make the selection. And before I go there, though, there's a few comments I want to make ahead of time. So this is kind of like what my parents used to do on Christmas. We'd always have to wait until something. We'd go look at Christmas lights and like, oh, come on, can we start opening presents now? But hopefully this will be enriching to you. I really like what Team 2 talked about and asked me a question in terms of what fuels you. And this is what fuels me. Life is a journey, and I look at it that people are put in your life for a reason, or a season, a reason, and sometimes for life. And I think about Dr. Bengtson, who's been instrumental in my career, and literally I would not be here today without Dr. Bengtson. And it was very humbling for my family and I to create the Dr. Bengtson Faculty Mentorship Award here, because mentorship is so important. Had I not had that mentorship, I probably would have been a lawyer. And maybe that would have pleased my mom, but I wouldn't have had the journey that I've had. Literally 30 years since I graduated from not only KU undergrad, but Northwestern grad school, and it was because of Dr. Bengtson, who said, hey, I think you're pretty good at this. You probably should think about maybe going on to grad school instead of law school. And if you do, you should think about going to Northwestern. And I did. And I have had just the journey of a lifetime. And now to be Executive Vice President and Chief Marketing Officer at Noodles & Company with some of the other world-class brands that I've had a chance to work with, it does come down to a philosophy that I've gained over these 30 years, and it's all about growth. Who doesn't want to grow? I mean, if you don't grow, you die, right? And we all want growth, whether it's personal growth, team growth, brand growth, and certainly professional growth. And I think about a metaphor that I came up with a few years ago when looking at the back door, and we had in the Los Angeles area a fig tree, and it was in February, and in California that's start of spring, and there was this one little sprig growing, and it gave me this idea, because I'd always kind of led with the notion of leadership, engagement, and accountability. And I really had hammered that point home to teams that I led. The importance of leadership is having a purpose and really being able to articulate a vision that is inspiring. And then the ability to connect dots to get it from vision to execution. I love the quote attributed to Thomas Edison is, vision without execution is nothing more than hallucination. So a good leader needs to know how to connect all those dots, and all of you in this room are leaders. Whether you're leading in the team that you were just in, or you're leading in other extracurricular activities, maybe you're a leader in your family, maybe you're a leader in a fraternity or sorority or other social group or sports group. But as you get into your careers, really understand and become a student of leadership. There are literally, if you Google the word leader or leadership, you'll find almost 1 billion hits. So everybody likes to talk about leadership. But the second part of it is engagement. You think about this idea of a total commitment of your head, your heart, and your hands to the mission that you've agreed to. And if you're committed with your head, you know what to do. And if you're committed with your heart, you know why you're doing it. And then if you're committed with your hands, you know actually what to do. And then you can go on to the next one, which is accountability. So everybody likes to talk about leadership. We love to hear about great stories of leaders in battle or on the football field or basketball court, or maybe teachers and politicians in some regard who've helped change the world through leadership during tough times. And engagement's kind of been a bit of a buzzword that's been around for maybe 8 to 10 years in earnest. And it's this idea of two-way interactivity and this idea of commitment. And accountability is the word we like, whoa, you had me at leadership and engagement. You mean I have to be held accountable? This is the real world. And accountability means you're going to be competing. You're going to be competing for your first job, your second job, your third job, and within those jobs, you're going to be competing for promotions. If you work on the agency side, you'll be competing for businesses such as ours, which Mike has been doing very successfully for several years. But this idea of accountability is not just the X's and O's, it's not just the dollars and cents, but you think about it as a platform. You think about it as a spirit of continuous improvement, right? But really founded with best practices learning. I always love to read and study great companies, great brands. I'm a student of brand building, and I will always be. Because excellence is what drives me. So you want to know what fuels me, it's this idea of striving for excellence. And I had the good fortune of working for Leo Burnett in Chicago, one of the top advertising agencies in the world. And Leo Burnett had a folksy saying. He said, reach for the stars. You may not get one, but you won't get a handful of mud either. So their symbol at Leo Burnett is a hand reaching for the stars, with this idea of always striving for excellence. So if you're learning about what excellence looks like outward, you can also look at what it looks like inward. And this idea of spirit of continuous improvement is just that. Try to be better tomorrow than you were today. When I drive home at night, I always look in the mirror and I say, did I do everything I could do today to build the brand and live up to my commitment with the role that I've been given? Every single day. And every day that I wake up, I say, what am I going to do today to make it better? And that's what drives me, and maybe a little too hard on myself sometimes, but I think that's what helps push me to where I'm at. So leadership, engagement, and accountability sounds great, right? I think it was when I was president of Mimi's Cafe, and we were going through a selling process, and it was really difficult. And we were striving to hit certain numbers to get a multiple up to where the parent company could make back what they wanted to make out of the brand, and they sold it. a lot of pressure, and I think I was putting a lot of pressure on our team, and I wasn't having any fun. And I thought about it, and I thought, well, they're probably not having any fun either if I'm not. And it dawned on me. It was that day that I looked at that leaf out in the backyard and said, that's it. It's what's missing for me is this idea of fun. So you can do all the other three, you can do them really well, but if you're not having any fun, you won't feel enriched, and you won't, as a leader, enrich others on your team. And I think that's what now helps me be a more mature and better leader, is this understanding. When you think of growth, you think of leadership as the root ball of that fig tree. You think of engagement as the kind of trunk and branches that really carry that tree. But you think of accountability as the fruit. It's the leaves or the fruit that that particular tree bears, in that case a fig tree. And you think about all of us, we're all different. And we all have a different type of tree that we can be and a different type of fruit that we can bear. And it doesn't all have to be the same. Matter of fact, it's magical, the fact that it's not the same, but that we can all be the best that we can be. And this notion of fun is creating that climate, that ecosystem to where that plant can thrive and be the best it's capable of being, regardless of what type of plant it is. You just think of the sun and the rain and the soil and the photosynthesis, that's what creates it. But you also know that some of the most beautiful plants in the world are in Arizona, which is not the best climate, you would think, for growing. So the point is, we can all grow anywhere, and we can all be the best that we're capable of being if we have that right mindset. So you think about this notion of life as a journey, and it's all based on growth. There's people that help you along that journey, as I mentioned, and I've had the good fortune of having Dr. Bengtson as a mentor here at the University of Kansas, and had great mentors along my career. And so while you all are starting out in your career, have an eye toward that. Who else can you help along the journey? Because that's a part of what makes you special, and that's what is going to make you more enriched as a human being. You think of the great Maya Angelou, the poet that passed away a few years ago, and she said, no one's going to remember what you said. They're going to remember how you made them feel. And so if you take that with you as well in your career, and you have teams that you're on, just like this one, I know for a fact there were ups and downs this semester, and you were at each other's throats probably, and you were high-fiving other times. That's cool, and that's what it's going to be as you go throughout your career. The same thing if you were playing on a football team, or you're on a basketball team or a volleyball team. You're going to have to pick each other up, and you're going to have to make people feel special and feel important as they deserve to. The other thing is words matter. I didn't have Dr. Bremner as a teacher, but those who did back in the day, Professor John Bremner wrote a book called Words on Words. And he was a legendary professor here at KU on what was then known as the news and editorial side. The other side of the world. His editing classes were legendary, and he was a tough taskmaster. But he wrote this book called Words on Words, and it has stuck with me, even though I didn't have him for a teacher. I remember reading the book, and I like to say that words matter. So when you're talking to people, be careful with the words you choose. For us, there's a few little pet peeves that I have. I'll just be honest with you. I look at those who come into Noodles & Company as guests, because a guest is a mindset. If you have someone come over to your house as a guest, they're not a consumer or a customer. When you think of a guest, it's how you would like to be treated if you were invited over to someone else's home. And so this idea of guests is very important. Also, restaurants. I hate the word stores. We get groceries in stores. We have an opportunity to serve people and deliver hospitality. And then you do that in a restaurant where people are paying good money to come and spend some time with you, with their families. And we want to nourish those family relationships. You can't do that in a store. Those are just some examples that I wanted to share with you to let you understand the importance of words. And the words you chose as you articulated your campaigns. The plans books were fantastic. Some of the more detailed plans books that I've seen and well thought out and connecting from strategy all the way to execution, wonderful job. But presentation matters as well. Mike and I were talking as we were deliberating, and he's been on the the pitch side. And I've also been, I've literally half my career spent on the agency side, and the other half is on the kind of brand marketer side, so I totally get it. And you got to bring the passion on that day. It's kind of like the Olympic trials. You could be the best, 100-meter dash runner, but if you pull up with a cramp on that day, you don't go to the Olympics. And so that's the opportunity you have, is to practice, so where it just rolls right off the tongue. And I thought people did a really wonderful job today. The idea of mission is also important, and I really like, certainly what Team 2 picked up on as we articulated our mission statement. At Noodles & Company, to always nourish and inspire every team member, guest, and community we serve. That's a powerful mission. And you think about the notion of good brands versus great brands. I really feel like we're on to something here, but even we don't know what we have yet. We're just now getting our arms wrapped around it, and it has been a mission statement for us for the last several years. I came in with a fresh perspective in July and asked the question when I saw it written on a conference room wall. And I said, is that our mission statement? Because I couldn't really find it in any of the other materials. It wasn't in any of our recruiting materials. It wasn't on our website. And someone said, yeah, I think so. I'm not sure we use it anymore. And I said, what a shame. That is our North Star. That's our guiding post. So what is it for you? What's your personal brand? We talked a little bit about this, I think, during the briefing. Mine is a mission statement is, I don't want to just make money and retire. I want to make a difference and inspire. Think about it as you grow in your career, as you're interviewing with people. What's your personal brand? When they talk to you in an interview and you're competing for a position, how are you going to stand out? Grades, the fact that you have a University of Kansas education are important. Activities, this project, all those are important, but they want to get to know you. They want to see you as somebody who's going to help make a difference for their firm, whether you're on the agency side or the client side or the vendor or supplier side. Everyone wants to understand how can you plug into their culture? How can you meld your personal skills, your talents, your abilities, especially when you're an unknown commodity at this point. So as you're interviewing, as you're putting together a book, or as you're putting together your elevator pitch, think about what should your personal brand be? What do you stand for? And then how would you use the same discipline that you took through this campaigns approach to really stand out and make a difference? All right, enough of the lecturing. You probably thought you were done with that. Not so fast. But let's get into this. So I kind of looked at this in 4 quadrants. I said, okay, how are we going to really objectively judge each of the 3 teams? And the first one was strategic fit with the 2-part assignment. And so we're looking at our millennial families and we're looking at our college students. The second was the strategic recommendation supported by research, or was it supported by, hey, this is a cool idea. Let's see if we can make this work. And the third was an integrated communications plan, so the marriage of strategy, media, creative, and measurement, right? And the fourth is team presentation. How did you bring it to life? The plans books are something you get all semester to work on, but when you get your 25 minutes in front of a client, how are you going to show up? How are you going to bring it to life? And how are you going to make a connection with them? Because while we all want to be objective, just like when we're trying to buy a car or a house, we think we've got a certain budget we're going to stay within, but all of a sudden we kind of, as humans, look at things and go, well, I can see where if I just put $20 more a month, I could get it with this. Or if I bought in this neighborhood, I could get this. And we all rationalize through subjectivity, right? So part of the team presentation is a little subjective. Do I sense that I could work with these people? Do I see and sense a passion behind my brand that I don't have to stimulate because it's already there? So those were the 4 ways that we looked at it. And so I'll go through each of the team critiques individually, and then we'll announce the winners. Does that sound good? All right. And I'm just going to do this in the order of presentation, so don't think of this as any other way than that. Team 1, globalize your taste buds. Where's team 1? Right there, right in front. Okay. Perfect. Great job. You guys, you laid out the plans book and the background really, really well. And I thought you connected a lot of the dots. I really liked the
the idea of using technology. And I thought you could have even played that up a little bit more, knowing that our target audience, both the millennial families and college students, are tech savvy. I thought you had some wonderful ideas. I'm really intrigued by the augmented reality. If you could have pulled that off, that would have been stellar. But given the budget, probably not so much, right? Our Noodles gift cards only went so far, and I don't think we could have helped to fund that. But I thought that was really cool. I really liked the way you had kind of the brand promoter program with the college students. I didn't yet get a sense of how you would select them and exactly what they would be doing. So I liked the idea of it, but I didn't quite get the depth of that. I love the idea of which dish are you. I think that is a social media idea that I'm going to tell you right now I'm going to steal. Okay? Because I think that's a cool idea for marrying the personality, the interests, the aptitudes, the flavor profiles that we all have that are unique to us with dishes that we believe are unique in our restaurants. So I love that idea. I think that top to bottom, it was a really, really solid approach, and I thought you did a wonderful job. I think on the media side, maybe there was a miscommunication with how much money you had to spend. I've never seen someone spend less than they were given. Mike, have you? Every time we have a budget at an agency side, it's just magically how interesting the invoices come in. It's almost to the penny of the budget they were given. So that might have been a miscommunication, but I'm overlooking that from this perspective. I think the other thing that I'll challenge all of you to think about, and again, we don't have a media planning and buying class anymore at KU, so I think it's really difficult to ask you to try to really understand what things cost and how to get to an ROI, because we no longer have that on the curriculum. So that's something I'm going to lobby the dean for, because I think that would really help you. Because otherwise we're using subjective measures to cut up media expenses to hit a budget. And sometimes they seem to hang together, and other times they seem like they were a little bit of this. And then so I think that I'm going to give you a little pass on that. But as you now go throughout your career, understanding what things cost and how to ascribe a return on that investment, that's the real world. That's what we do. And if we had to make a decision between TV or online video or radio or outdoor or all the various forms of digital and social and publicity that you talked about, we would have a more objective approach to understanding what we spend versus what we have to get out of it, especially if you're a publicly traded company like we are. Maybe move on to Team 2. Where's Team 2? They're busy fueling tomorrow over there. Really like the idea of the mission-focused approach. You really took that to heart, and the notion of nourish and inspire to empower achievement or success, and you connected the dots from the food to the aspiration and to the life of the guest. And I thought that was really, really well done. I like the idea of how it hung together throughout creatively. I thought the creative was outstanding. I thought the notion of the fuel points and the storytelling approach of how to connect this idea of fuel in so many different ways. And you listed all those different ways. So it wasn't like, here's what we're recommending, that's it. It's here's what we're recommending, and here's all the extensions of the idea that I thought was very, very powerful. And the hashtag Fuel KU was a great extension on the college campus, and that could be seen throughout all the different college campuses that Noodles & Company has restaurants on. I think that the idea of carbohydrates equals brain food could have been a little tighter story. I think you were taking it for granted that people already know that. Unfortunately, they don't, and it's a wonderful opportunity to educate. And then using publicity to help educate, which is a very cost-effective way of getting the word out, and using the credibility of the press to help tell the story, so it doesn't look like we're just beating our chest, but you're looking at different people to help get that word out. But making it personal, this notion of hashtag what fuels you, I think it was very powerful and a good connection between the core idea. I thought what was a little missing was connecting it directly to our food.
and the unique dishes that we had. So at a high level, you connected it, but then, so what does that mean for particular dishes at Noodles and Company? And so I thought that maybe if we were to work together, we'd have that conversation and we'd say, okay, how do we build upon this? That's how things normally work. You don't always go into a campaign and pitch an idea and the client says, that's it, let's go do it. It's, you made the cut, we now are in a relationship, now let's go figure this thing out together, and what parts of what you pitched do we want to keep, and now we'll probably go do some more research together and figure out where we're going to go. And I think that's kind of what I took away from that is great foundation, some things to build on to make it more personal to our specific dishes versus just in general. Team 3. There's Team 3 all the way over there, very nice. They're already on an adventure, I can already tell. Maybe not a taste adventure, but they're thinking, hey, we're graduating, it's great. Wonderful job in also connecting the dots. And if you notice in the Q&A, I was trying to get you to articulate. I'd read the plans books. I know how you got the ideas you did. I want to hear you articulate them. And I think that's so important because, again, you can write something and you don't know if the client is going to read everything you write. I happen to have done it because I wanted to be really thorough. I take this seriously, as hopefully you can tell. But the ability to articulate it and have it just roll off the tongue, that's what's going to be help make you even more successful. Is it's not just about knowing the information, it's about being able to communicate it and being able to do it in a very passionate way that influences. You have to influence a client to spend a lot of money. Now, they've chosen now to go with you or you, right? But now you have to influence them. And I look at that as I thought, hey, what people ask me is like, you've been on the agency side, you've been on the brand side, what do you like about both? I love a lot about both. But I'd say if you're on the agency side, you're an influencer. If you're on the brand marketer side, you're a decision maker. So you have to be able to be influenced. You have to be open-minded to listen to the counsel of the agency. But at the end of the day, you're responsible. The agency can say they are, but they're not going to give you money back if the campaign doesn't work. I've tried. They don't do that. There's no money back guarantee, just like your financial advisor. They won't give you money back if your investments don't work. So you are, at the end of the day, are accountable, but you have to be open-minded and you have to listen to their ideas because they're working late at night and weekends, busting their butt for you, and they have your best interest at heart. So Team 3 specifically, I loved the dish a month idea. I think we've actually done that in the past at Noodles and Company, but it's something I want to bring back. But maybe not the idea of creating a new dish each month. I think I would have my operators, or they would have my head on a platter if I told them we're going to create something new every month. But I love the vision of it. And when I asked you Q&A, you said, hey, no, we're going to highlight what you have, but we do LTOs. So limited time offerings. So the ability to then use that as a way to bring news to the menu in a very relevant, very compelling, and motivating way, I like that a lot. I like the way you connected the dots from food to freshness and quality to taste. And I think it's so often overlooked is people sometimes just think that, well, if it's food, of course the end benefit is taste, but not always. And I think about what's going on right now in our category. Chipotle has come out with this notion of food with integrity. And you go on their website, you will see they'll allude to it, but most of it is just about the source of the ingredients that they use. They don't really connect the dots as closely to taste. Panera has come back with this notion of food as it should be. And so they're talking about taste, but they're doing it generically. And what we're trying to do at Noodles and Company is now be more specific. We believe that by serving high quality, fresh, clean ingredient food, that it lets the fresh, bold flavors of our world kitchen global recipes come through. And I think there's a nuance there that's really important. I think you captured that very well with this notion of a taste adventure. You know, one of the number one competitors we have isn't a brand, it's cooking at home. I think all of you replayed that. You think about noodles and pastas, someone will say, oh, I can make that at home. You can't make our dishes at home, I guarantee you that. And so we have to make it special. We have to make it unique. We have to make it an adventure that someone can go on, because what we do know is people will spend money for an experience. They don't want to spend additional money for something that they can do for themselves at home. They want something that they have a unique craving that can only be satisfied at your establishment with your specific dishes, with your specific recipes, made consistently and to a high quality degree of freshness at a great value, right? Versus if you were to try to make some of our dishes, which have over 20 some ingredients at home, not only would you spend a lot of time and money chasing around trying to find those ingredients, you spend a lot of time making them. And so we want to make sure that we're giving you an experience, and I love the idea of how you connected taste to adventure in a way that really I thought was very provocative. So, all that being said, what does that mean? Well, before we get there, this is another of my delay tactics. I want to thank Mike Swenson as well, my partner in crime on this project, who heads up Crossroads at Barclay.
I'll say one thing from the chair. Her great ideas today on all 3 teams.
Yes.
And don't be surprised if you see something.
Well, thank you for signing your releases earlier this spring. I had them all in a file.
I just want you guys to know there are ideas today that were, commercial ready, or ready to go. I mean, worthy of the marketplace. So great work.
Well, and not only do I take great pride in that because I really do believe in best practices learning, and you could also kind of flip that and say stealing. I have no shame. I will steal an idea where I can find one. But the fact that that's coming from Mike, who works for our agency, not just an agency, he's sitting in there and hearing, you all talk about these, unique and different ideas that are running a bit counter to where the direction is we're going. And so for him to say that, that's high praise indeed. And we expected that from you. The last thing I wanted you to do is say, well, no, you guys are doing great. Keep going down the track. That wouldn't be any learning from you. Plus, we get the chance to get different perspectives. And it didn't cost very much to get those different perspectives. So we really appreciate that. And I echo that. There's a lot of great ideas, some that you will see, I will guarantee you in some way, shape, or form. I want to thank you for all the hard work that was put into it. I want to thank the parents and the audience for all the support you give your kids, not only financially, but hopefully on the other end of the phone as they're calling you late at night, struggling with how to deal with the pressures of school and whatnot. Now that they're coming out the other end, I see smiles on your faces. So I have a great opportunity to announce that my daughter is going to be coming to KU next year. So Brianna will be a freshman. And she got into the University Honors Program, so she clearly got her smarts from her mom and not from me. And the cycle continues. And so I'll leave you with that. The cycle continues. But unfortunately, this isn't, junior league soccer where everybody gets a trophy. This is a time where, I got to make a tough announcement. And the one thing I feel really good about is Mike and I agreed almost immediately. And we went through, the matrix that I mentioned, went through the whole idea of strategic fit with the 2-part assignment, who really listened during the briefing and came back with the goods. The concepts that were supported by research, not just gut feel, because in the real world, you're going to have to prove why you're going to go a certain direction with a brand and why they're going to spend so much money. Then the integrated communications plan that married strategic thought to media and creative messaging, and then finally your team presentation, and it was close. This was probably the closest that I've seen, but I think one team stood out, and it was Team 2. Team 2, congratulations. It was tough because I liked so much, as you heard, about every one of them, and everybody did a great job. And I wish, and as what would happen normally, and Mike knows in this situation, we'd probably say, here's what we liked about Team 2, and here's what we liked about Team 1, here's what we liked about Team 3, and we'd probably come together with the perfect, campaign idea, right? Because I really believe that there was some really powerful, emotional storytelling and connectivity from the brand to our targeted guests. Felt like, again, there could have been a little bit more food focus, and so that's what's going to happen in the real world. We talked about it. Loved the taste adventure idea and the globalize your taste buds notion of really tying the food to an experience that Team 1 and Team 3 did. So there is no second or third place. I'm not going to announce that because in the real world, you found out either the call is, congratulations, we want to go with you, how quickly can we start? Or, I'm so sorry, you worked really hard, you did a great job, and it was close, and
we went in a different direction. You know, better luck next time. And when that happens, you have a couple reactions. One, you can point a finger of blame and say, who didn't hold up their end of the bargain on the team? Why didn't we win? Or two, what can we learn from this that we can then all enrich each other and get better for the next time so that we can get that positive call after the next pitch. And that's life. We all fall down, skin our knees, and have to get back up. And I don't want Team 1 or Team 3 to take anything other than great learning out of this, and the fact that I appreciated all the hard work and the great ideas, and I will be using some of them. So take solace in that fact. Only one team can be a winner. Tim is Machiavellian. He made me select a winner because he knows how that works in the real world. But that's kind of where we netted out. And congratulations, Team 2. And we're happy to start work whenever you guys, I guess, come up from hibernation after the holidays. Thank you.